Thank you very much, guys, as we are getting ready for game number 2. T1 up against Kiwoom DRX. And game 1 certainly was a bit of a blowout. Yes, there were some awkward fights in the mid-game where it looked like, T1 were kind of overpressing, but it's T1, a little bit of happy gaming there. It just felt like Kiwoom DRX couldn't really punish it at all. And hoping that game 2 is a little bit closer, because I also wasn't there for the 6-gamer on Sunday, just like Ox, and it feels like we missed out a bit, Wolf.
Yeah.
And G-Sun too.
Yeah. I was there. It was great. So, for me, I'm like, it could be a 2-0. We'll see what happens.
Wow.
Kiwoom often bring us a 3, but we'll see if that happens here. We do see the Caitlyn ban pretty early on in this draft. See if they are going to ban Varus as well, or if perhaps there's a bit of an interesting angle for that one. It will be once again the Ashe ban. And I think T1 will likely ban Varus again, and then maybe this time, LazyFeel goes for the Ezreal pick early. Oh, Varus is up. I'm going to ban Jarvan instead. Now, Varus is such a strong flex pick right now. I think it would be wise to get it, especially because if you first pick Ezreal, you're going to have problems with this. Even if it's Ezreal Karma, I feel like the Varus lane could do pretty well into this. T1 are like, okay. They're just going to blind the Varus top. That's how confident they are in this.
Varus is giga broken. I feel like part of the reason why we don't see it scooped up here as first pick is, just to be honest, I feel like Rich isn't one of those guys that can really utilize the Varus top as well as some of our other top laners, such as Doran.
Now,
so,
now you don't even get Karma Ezreal because they just slam this like this. So I'm not sure what LazyFeel will end up with here. But Karma Sivir, Karma Jhin, those picks are likely going to be banned in the second phase now that you've picked up the Lee Sin Annie, which is a strong combo in its own right. And you do need a lot of engage with this Karma pick, and the Annie can shore a lot of that up. We have also seen Keria play Ezreal support. I don't think that's happening in this case, but it would be very funny if it did happen again.
Yeah. There is a world. Faker, he is smiling, which doesn't always happen, but when he is...
Speaking of flexes.
Is this bot lane
for the Skarner Ezreal incoming? Ezreal jungle for Oner.
There was a time.
Yeah, there was a time. And no one enjoyed it.
Good old, what was his name? Haru?
Yes, Haru was the guy.
From Genji.
So, Sivir's gone. Jhin will follow, I think. And then we really have to see what LazyFeel's got planned here. As on the other side, what do you do? It's really tricky. Do you ban Galio here? I don't think so. Really just have no idea what is... Okay, they say, yes, okay, I guess that's the only thing that comes to mind. It feels good into the Annie. Empowers the Varus top. It's great with Ezreal. Great with Skarner. But there's so much available here that Faker can play into the Annie that... I've got the Galio. That one's the obvious one, but...
What if he plays Skarner mid?
Honestly, even playing Jhin into this comp looks so miserable and doesn't seem to work well with Kiwoom's comp at all. They're not even going to ban it. They're like, I don't like that. I don't want to deal with Yorick into our Varus top. I'm going to take that away instead. I actually like this choice a lot.
Rich did not like that choice.
No. Rich was like, I was kind of hoping I was going to get my hands on that one.
Yeah.
He may just end up playing a ranged top of his own, of some kind, like a Tristana. But I mean, it's not going to be good. It's not going to have fun. Faker's just going to play Viktor, which is also very strong on this patch. Don't let the loss streak and the LCK stats dissuade you. It is definitely pretty big. In terms of what it does and its functionality, especially in a draft like this.
Viktor, on that note, 1-8 so far.
That's why I said don't look at those. Okay.
Well, when you said don't look at it, what did you think I was going to do? Immediately look at it.
This is the thing that people keep saying to me when I say don't look at stuff. They're like, well, I'm going to look at it. Like, but that's exactly what it commanded you not to do.
Don't look at the elephant in the room.
LCK.
He's definitely not. He can't hurt you.
LCK play-by-play is just not good at following directions. We're just going to go MF.
That's true.
MF Karma.
Very true.
MF Karma. I prefer the MF. But I Let's see what they got. Is it Gnar? I don't think so. I think it's miserable. What else? Where's the other setup for the misfortune? It's got to be something. Camille into Varus? Sounds like a bad time, but
yeah,
maybe desperate.
What's the frontliner here that you're playing into Varus top?
Jax has been one of the answers we've seen from a few top laners here on the rare occasion that Varus has left up. And it is good for setting up misfortune if you can get a backline 100% win rate. I think it's like 2-0. As Keria, what are we cooking? Like, what are
No, don't be fooled. He's playing Skarner support. Tahm Kench.
Tahm Kench Ezreal.
What year is it? That's so strange.
That is strange. But, like, Nico was banned, and they're playing into Karma, so...
Tom's like, oh, I don't know about this one.
Yeah, this is, like, I do think that even though I wasn't a huge fan of the Karma Misfortune as a setup here and what it does in this draft, it bonks basically everything that was left up for Keria to play here. I think they're just going to kind of sack this lane a little bit. Maybe we'll see a ton of jungle attention from the Skarner instead, and they'll be able to play through that, but it is going to be a really tough laning phase. Like, whenever you see a pushing lane into Tahm Kench, you know you're getting a lot of gray health value, and you're going to just kind of get through it, and then you're going to be a big supportive catfish later for your double AD carry and hyper-scaling Viktor comp. And it'll work out fine, because Keria, if you guys have been living under a rock for like the last 5-6 years, is a really good Tahm Kench player. It's one of his most iconic picks, even though it's been out of the meta for a really long time.
Yeah.
For me, like, second to his Thresh, really. Like I
remember his engaged Tahm Kench. There were a lot of games where it was like, you can't play Tahm Kench like that. Well, Keria made it so. And then Tahm Kench got changed and nerfed, and the bottom lane meta got reformed by many a player, including Keria. So, anyway, guys, let's jump onto the Rift here for game number 2 as we're ready for T1 versus Kiwoom DRX. Here we go, game number 2. Definitely got to keep our eyes on that top lane because Varus did get through the draft, and Rich is playing Jax into it.
I'm worried about that top lane. Exhaust is the summoner spell of choice for Varus toppers. Again, we don't see this pick because it is permanently banned. And Varus does a lot of damage. He is very difficult to deal with. He is very safe in terms of his teamfight damage later on. And he's just another scaling threat in a draft that already has 2 strong scaling threats in the Ezreal and the Viktor. And Keria's Tahm Kench can protect all 3. In the last game draft, I was like, all right, well, they got the Nautilus pick. I thought that was really cool. A lot of other teams wouldn't have done that. And Andil was almost able to set up some picks on the Peyz as they're winning the lane. They're winning the lane, Valdes.
Yeah, gonna get knocked up here. Andil has to flash away. I mean, they get level 2 first, which is interesting to say the least. Peyz is like, oh, you want to trade? Let's go. I have lethal tempo. And here we go. Once again, the engage comes in from Keria. But guess who's bottom lane? It is the jungler of Kiwoom DRX. They're looking for the kill on a LazyFeel, but Willer gonna pick up 1 and make it 2. As level 3, Willer gets down there and saves the day.
I think the words I'm looking for here are probably wholly unnecessary in terms of the follow-up there that we saw from Keria and Peyz. Like, they could have just been okay with their tempo lead that they had. They were winning the lane. They were kind of crushing it. Got a kill, and then went a bit too ballistic. Well, I mean, the kill part, I think, was the right choice because they were kind of caught in that situation. But looking for the kill, they got it as, jump scare on that Jax. I guess we'll find out what happens later. As from here, you're in a winning position. From here, you're in a losing position. Because Willer is coming down. They didn't know that. And LazyFeel's forced to flash. And they end up getting the kill onto the Karma, but it means that LazyFeel survives. And the lane state there on the bottom side, fairly gankable with this Lee Sin that is now significantly ahead. See what he is able to do here to Doran as well. Doran still has his exhaust.
Yeah,
ward.
I mean, the Jax at least has good setup with the counter-strike because he gets in melee range. The exhaust does come out. I think Doran's too far away from everything, just dies as Willer says, you know what, I will just put the team on my back and try to make this an interesting game.
Yeah, the position there was great because he knows there's likely a ward on that brush. He's able to hide himself there, let Rich do the engage. Because as Doran, you're pushing up thinking like, well, if Rich all-ins on me, I have exhaust, it's fine. But did not calculate Willer, which has kind of been the story of this game. Again, a third time, did not calculate for Willer. He doesn't have flash anymore, but doesn't need it.
Yeah, he was just top. I mean, they're not expecting Willer to be going crazy solo queue gank level, of course, as well. Here's Oner in the bottom lane, and LazyFeel will die to Peyz. So a nice little win back here for Oner after he farms his whole jungle. But yeah, Willer's basically skipping a lot of his jungle to just go gank every single lane, and T1 are not respecting it.
Yeah, and he's also still got even farm with the Skarner with 3 kills on top of it, so feeling very good about his position in this game. We have a very wonky and low CS bottom lane because of everything that's happened down there and all the aggressive killing. As Keria, yeah, we mentioned that he's really good at this pick.
38 games in a 5 KDA. Definitely quite impressive on the pick.
I just think some of his most impressive games, like, I know that win rate is really high for that many games, but I think he's probably had some higher win rate champs in his career, but like the eye test was always god tier, even in losses on this pick for me. I was always most impressed by it. Next to his Thresh is Andil is baiting here, and Willer still doesn't have flash, but if he can land a kick.
I mean, they know that Willer's down here. They saw him actually go off of the Gromp to just run straight bot, and that is immediately going to ring alarm bells in your head. It's like, oh, he's not farming the jungle. He's coming bot once again. They're trying to set up for a dive, and you can see that the T1 bottom lane, plus Oner, who was coming over, are able to get in position to deny it. So Ucal going to hit level 6 first by a small margin, as there comes the Storm as well. Faker just going to use that to farm the wave and
Faker has
get it back.
Advantage, so this doesn't mean all too much. And just come straight back to the lane, as you were saying. And I don't think Andil sold that very well either on the bottom side, going for the very aggressive route, but what he was trying to look for. Even though there are 3 kills on this Lee Sin, you know, the CS advantage is still there for the Varus. Rich is forced to back here. We'll lose some of that wave as Ucal.
Yeah, kind of baiting Oner in here as Willer was waiting for it. The flash comes out. Faker was very low, trying to bait Ucal into diving, which led to Oner coming in, but Willer knew that, so he was also there, and he's the one who eventually wins in the end.
A very high action game here. Obviously, a lot of advantages picked up for Lee Sin. His flash!
Yeah, I mean, he has flash, so if you're in flash range, you're going to die. Faker did not respect that. No flash on the Annie now, I suppose, is what he'll post. Is now a 2v2 in the jungle. Willer is quite strong. Doran trying to get the kill on Andil, but he's just going to flash away and get out of that one as we hop to Peyz, who's just running. And Willer gets in, picks up another kill, make it number 4. Keria is here as well. We got a TP in from Faker, and Faker is going to have to flash over the wall. Mounter W comes in, but no follow-up there from Kiwoom DRX.
Valdes, it's been a while since we've had this level of T1 happy gaming.
I feel like they got a taste in game 1, but they didn't. It wasn't enough. You
like
know?
this passage of play here.
It's like having one potato chip.
It's so bizarre to me because remember, Willer is massively ahead, but also like you're a Varus, you can't do that much damage yet.
Speaking of, he is still a Varus, and under the turret, Willer is going to make their lives just a living hell, as he does pick up his 5th kill.
I mean, like, now they can just kind of, I mean, they are just camping him, frankly, and he can't actually be the threat he's supposed to be, even in the lane anymore. He doesn't have a CS advantage, doesn't have a gold lead. Faker's also having a bit of a tough time in lane. Ucal's had some really good plays here. The punish flash into killing Faker. Obviously, Faker, once the Q's in the air, can't flash away, so it doesn't flash, but then has to flash in that follow-up exchange because he teleported in aggressively, which is not the first time this series he's done that, but a little bit riskier this time because he's not in Anivia with a passive available. And so now he's 0-2, doesn't have flash, very gankable. You know what, I'll say it, I think anyone's gankable with this Lee Sin that has 5 kills and Eclipse. Yeah, that's the situation we're in. And Willer is ready to keep pushing the advantage here. Oner finally has his ult. See if he can make something happen here. Is seen on this ward, so unlikely.
Yeah, just kind of has to hover around the bottom lane, I suppose, as they finally cleared out that deep control ward that was spotting Willer over and over again. And I think when their Lee Sin is this strong, you just get the dragon by default. And that's what they're going to do. They go ahead and take this objective down. It's not like on spawn or anything, but it's still relatively early, 8.5 minutes. And maybe he just goes up and picks up the objective. I mean, at this point, you know, his farm is also ahead of Oner, but he also has 7 out of 7 kill participation, with 5 of those being kills. So yeah. He's just been doing everything in this game.
Now we're looking at a world where fairly soon, LazyFeel will have his Bloodthirster and will be able to hold his own in lane. Obviously he has a Karma to back him up, but he's just going to be very comfortable there. And we're looking at, you know, Rich's side lane power, which is getting better and better, which I never thought was necessarily going to be a thing in this game. But with the attention he's been given, he will be a threat. As we saw in that last trading pattern, obviously he still has to deal with Varus things. And I don't have the answer.
Where did Keria come from? I guess he was just hiding on bush. I mean, that's really the only explanation.
Yeah, I guess that's the case, and LazyFeel was just greeting there. Did have his ult. We'll find out. But I think you're probably right. Keria probably just hiding either in the tri-brush or in the river, and it was not respected. Maybe LazyFeel saw him backing and thought he completed it, but he didn't. As Doran has friend this time, just one. Keria's coming up, though.
Doran has friend. We'll see if it works out, as the Impale is going to come through, and the aggro was taken by Willer. A giant shutdown. 819 gold does go over to Oner, as they're looking for more. It's Skarner and Tahm Kench together. And, yeah, not going to continue on that adventure.
Really great gravity field placement here. Ucal's going to challenge, though.
Yeah, just going to kind of run through, as the Annie is quite fast. And eventually Keria does come over here, though, as a bit of damage comes in. But the heal is there. The flash lick. And Ucal still on the run. As another lick is going to hit. A couple more autos and one lick could get it done. But under the turret, I think Keria is going to have to give up on now this adventure. As he throws up an emote and says, I'm having a really happy game. I don't know about you guys, but he's having fun.
I think T1 might lose this game, Valdes, if this trajectory doesn't change. Like, yes, LazyFeel did die in a quite comical way moments before, but this still doesn't solve all of the other problems around the map here. Ucal is huge already, and I was kind of feeling how this game was going to go was that, okay, Oner, run to turret. But I was feeling like we were going to see the Viktor push the Annie out. We are going to see a lot of Skarner attention, both bottom and mid, and that Doran would be, you know, putting the pressure on. Maybe if Willer goes up there, then the bottom lane goes a little bit pear-shaped. But instead, it's kind of been Peyz and Keria got a lane lead, but kind of messed it up as, okay, just did a tricky thing and got behind LazyFeel.
Wow.
LazyFeel didn't expect it. I guess LazyFeel, I mean, I don't know what LazyFeel thought, actually. But
well, he dove past the wave outside of vision.
Yeah.
Pretty funky tech there from Keria.
And here, you know, Willer does give a shutdown over to Oner, but it's a Skarner, so I guess it doesn't matter that much. But the silliness that ensues afterwards, where Faker tries to stop Ucal from getting a wave, definitely does not favor T1. Anyways, let's go back to the normal, exciting gameplay that's happening in this game, where we have 13 kills at 12 minutes, and who knows what'll happen next.
Yeah. You see Doran, you know, if you look at the scoreboard, he's 0-4. He has Swifty boots and red crystals. It doesn't look great, but he's only 300 gold behind the Jacks, so it's actually not that bad of a spot. And eventually, you know, he'll pick up Hexblade. He's going to pick up Dusk and Dawn. He's going to be very annoying to deal with. I think the Varus is fine. I would say that giving all those kills over to the Annie and the Lee Sin is the bigger issue.
Yeah. Oner. Yeah.
Now, just going to flash on in, just doing Skarner things. Nicely done. And once again, you know, in Game 1 it was Rich. Game 2 here it seems to be LazyFeel. They find the weakest target and they just repeatedly gank him.
I mean, this is really a bunch of shenanigans, right? Like what we're seeing, like hiding on bush from everybody. But flashing here was great from Oner. Like, LazyFeel can't 100% expect this situation. If you play like that, Skarner's hiding in the bush and can flash it, push you into the wall all the time, then you just can't even be in the lane, right? So this is a really good play from Oner. As Doran's ult is back up, so Rich has to be very careful with how he trades here. It's really hard for him to push advantages, even with just Swifties and 2 health crystals here for Doran. Just because, you know, the turret is the limiting factor. If you get caught and rooted under that, then you're not going to have a good time. He is using the new upgraded rune, the buffed rune, on this Jax as well, I just only noticed. As Willer, see if we can find an angle on a Peyz.
Got to be careful when you're going in onto an Ezreal that has a Tahm Kench. It feels like it has been quite a while since we've seen this duo, but basically unkillable. You know, it's Ezreal, who by himself is kind of unkillable, and then you have a Tahm Kench behind him with Devour. It's like...
And Locket.
Yeah, we used to see this all the time out of, I think it was Ruler with Core JJ. They used to just sit in mid, and Ruler would just, like, play underneath the enemy's turret, it felt like. And it was just kind of unpunishable.
Yeah. Keria here trying to find an angle to challenge this dragon, but Oner doesn't have flash, and I think they're just going to have to let this one go. LazyFeel clears the wave, and there's no cross map here now for T1. So, double dragon here for Kiwoom DRX. Unfortunately for them, again, not the highest roll. It could have been on Soul.
Yeah.
No ult for Doran.
Exhaust does come through, and another counter-strike. Flash forward from Rich. He gets the solo kill. Nice pickup from him, as that Varus is still just not online, and Storm played a little bit too close.
Yeah, like I said, if you're playing under turret, there's no way that Jax can do anything there, but you're playing out of turret. And when Doran flashed, I guess he was like, I guess I'll trade flashes, because Rich follows 100% there, and he's going to get the turret here, I think, as well. This is a pretty huge wave. A lot of denied minions. Doran, that CS advantage is gone, and the gold lead has tripled here for Rich with a kill on that turret. Kind of quintupled, really, from 300 to 1,500. And suddenly this Jax is a huge side lane. 3 isn't backed in a while. He's going to pick up some big items here. And Faker is still in the hole as well. So it's on the Kench Ezreal to get this game done here for T1 at this point. Now we know that in this game state, it's really favored to Kiwoom DRX, right? They have a side lane threat. Yes, Misfortune's isn't scaling that hard, but they have so much engage into these squishy targets here. It feels like they can almost just skip the Skarner, as Doran's just way too far up, doesn't have his ult. Exhaust is not going to work out there because Rich can flash on him. But it is T1, right? They're great at playing the map. So I wonder how T1 gets back in this game if they do. And it's going to start with a bit of a contest here.
Yeah, I mean, TP available, and now we got the flank coming in from Rich. The follow-up is there, but it's on to a Tahm Kench. Now they're going to have to set their sights on an Oner, who is going to have everything thrown into him. But eventually the Devour comes through as Keria comes back in. The shield is there, but Keria just essentially trading his life for Oner's. And Faker, he TP'd bot, so yeah. I'm kind of confused why they were
That's the thing.
so aggressively for that.
Because Faker TP's bottom, and the second that happens, Ucal is like, well, I'm going to TP to the Herald, and we're going to win this fight. And T1 were very aggressively contesting there. And Skarner is pretty tanky, but as we saw there, even a kick from Willer can put him into a zone where he's just going to take too much damage too quickly. As Doran did finish his first item, does have the Hexblade online now, but I am a little bit concerned about this mid game here for T1 as Blackfire Torch is finally picked up here for Faker. Keria and Oner, I think they're so tanky that they can buy some space here for Doran to do the damage, for Peyz to show up and chip away, but the fight is just over when Rich goes in. They're way too far forward. And without the Viktor here, it frankly just is a little disrespectful. Faker just showed his TP right to the face of Ucal, and Ucal was like, cool, I guess you can have this turret, we'll win the fight. And our gold lead is now 3,000.
And the TP itself is fine if the team isn't, you know, super aggro at the Rift Heralds and vice versa. You know, you can be super aggro at the Rift Heralds if you have the TP available. So you got to choose one. And even then, you know, from behind, even if they do have Faker, it's like, I don't know, guys. Like, do you really take the Rift Herald away from the 6-kill Lee Sin with 2 items? My money would be on no. But T1, they said, you know, maybe we find an angle. Maybe Oner gets a little steal, a little cheeky steal. Does not work out that way. It's now up 3,000 gold looking for Faker as the flash comes in. Willer kind of flashing ahead of the play, and he just has so much damage as, there you go. Ucal eventually does have to flash to get the kill.
And LazyFeel has ult, so he might be able to clear this wave. He's going to have to be very careful about how he does it.
Yeah, I mean, Oner's definitely going to go in for this one. The exhaust taken here by Peyz in this game. And it's going to come to great effect as they're able to dive as 3 on a little journey themselves. But Kiwoom DRX are on the chase. They do have Rich going over the wall. I mean, this Jax is just too powerful. They don't have the damage to cut through them. As the CC's there on Oner, Peyz trying to do his best to take out Andil. Gets over to Keria, as now we have the Varus coming in, as they are really trying their best to skirmish from behind and still win. As Willer's gonna go in, look for a bit more on a Doran. As another Sonic Wave gonna land, and eventually with the stun coming in, the Lee Sin can comfortably go down.
Valdes?
Yes.
I think it's going to 3.
Yeah.
This one is done. Like, LazyFeel cleared almost the entire wave with his ultimate. There was only 1 minion left, so they went ham on trying to get him. 2 flashes were used to kill Faker, right? So if you could make something happen on the cross, look at what's happening on the minimap right now. Both the Skarner and the Tahm Kench are like, sorry, Faker, we're making a play on LazyFeel because there's no way we can bail you out here. They get Ucal's flash as well, and they make the play in the mid where this ult is available. Skarner goes through, Tahm Kench looks for the knockup here. LazyFeel buys some space for the barrier, but then they, because they're between 2 turrets here with no wave, they go up. And I think they could have just taken a left at the Raptor camp, but Willer was cutting that approach off. Andil shows up too, and there's just no way out. Like, they committed so much to killing LazyFeel. And in the moments like this is why you pick this comp, right? Because you're Peyz and Keria, and you're like, we're going to show off our mechanics, but you're super far behind, and you're not having the good time you thought you were going to have. A soul point will go over in the interim.
Yeah. Especially, again, you're playing into really fed Lee Sin, who's very strong on this patch, and a Jax, who's really good into 280 carries when that is your main source of damage in that weird skirmish that you opted into. So now they're looking for Faker once again. The Sonic Wave into the kick, and the follow-up is easy. And a lot of T1 was kind of in the area, just did not matter, as that is the power of Willer on the Lee Sin.
It's funny how when I looked at these 2 drafts that Kiwoom DRX put together, I was like, oh, like game 1 draft, I mean, there's really something there. Game 2 draft can be a little tricky, you know? It's going to be a little bit tough. I don't know if that Annie's going to get out of the lane. I don't know if Willer's going to be able to make the impact he wants. And oh, man, Rich on Jax, I don't trust that. And then suddenly, like, little Happy Gaming and Kiwoom DRX are just so far ahead. I don't think this draft could be messed up. Like, it's really strong when you have all these tools with advantages. The Jax can get on the back line, the Annie gets onto the back line, LazyFeel falls up from a distance away. And the fact that LazyFeel is 1.2 thousand gold behind means very little when there's so many other threats. And he still layers damage on top of all your good CC.
Yeah. You know, I do agree. I also feel like the Tahm Kench pick at the end of the draft for T1 was pretty decent, especially because all of the engage is kind of just Annie Lee Sin, which can be strong in tandem, but it's not like a Nautilus. It's not an Oner. It's not hard engage per se unless the Annie's got flash. I'm going to hold that thought as Kiwoom DRX trying to go for a T1 Baron.
Faker coming up.
And, I mean, they are very far ahead as Rich does have the flank here, but the Impale goes in onto Ucal, and he's just going to die for free as the trade is there for Oner at least. Doran does have to flash away as LazyFeel is getting some value out of that one. Keria trying to go 1v1 versus Rich is not going to win that trade. And you see that T1 do have to back off, but they do stop the Baron at least.
Yeah, they do kill Ucal and stop the Baron, but they lose 2 in exchange. I think that at this point, 21.5 minutes into the game, it's pretty tough for LazyFeel crew to just start this one up again. They don't have the turn tools anymore with no Annie. But this fight initially looks like it's kind of going to be potentially good here for T1. It's Rich who really saves the day. And Doran here is layering a little bit of damage on the side, but ends up getting a bear drop. So he just gets pushed out of the fight, and now LazyFeel's in the position to actually cut them off as Rich is pushing Keria out. And the fight is just so incredibly split here for T1, and Faker doesn't have that much damage at this stage, and that's the MF 1.2 thousand gold behind, actually still doing more value in that fight than what Peyz could do because the fight was broken, because Kiwoom DRX have this massive Jax in this game that's sitting on 2 items, and we don't see the Baron yet, but Kiwoom DRX's gold lead remains the same. Given a really long time in this game or a big error in a team fight, there is a world where they could come back, I suppose, T1 in this game, but
yeah.
Oner is 2 levels down, as the observers are showcasing here. Willer is almost the most experienced player on the Rift. He has the highest damage.
And he's just like, you know what, guys? We can just do the Baron again. We have our buttons back. Ucal's about to get his flash back. I've got kick flash. It's going to be really difficult. I mean, Skarner can find ways to get into the pit. Not as easy from the blue side, actually, when you consider Skarner's kit. But, you know, it's going to be difficult to stop him with just a kick, but a little bit easier because Oner's on the blue side. Just trying to go in the front door as Rich goes in, straight into the back line, flashes away, but the kill's already there as everybody gets stunned by Ucal in the bush, and the follow-up from Rich is beautiful as well, as at least the Devour comes in. Some low health bars here on the side of Kiwoom DRX as T1 barely hanging on, but still a very good fight here for Kiwoom DRX.
Absolutely massive stun there from Ucal. Rich gets into the back line and flashes left there, which puts him into safety, but also prevents any real retreat from the rest of the T1 members. There's no way for them to kite it out. As Kiwoom DRX, like any good LCK team do, aren't really trying to get the Baron. They're trying to use Baron as a tool to force a team fight here, and they do exactly that. 4-man here from Ucal as Rich is ready to close the door, gets on top of Peyz. Peyz has to be devoured, and Kiwoom DRX are like, that's enough. We don't need to force this. We don't need to chase further. We can just go straight back to Baron, which they do have now in live. Already 1,000 gold on the Red Bull power play here. And this lead has moved up to 8K. All right.
Thanks, Wolf. At this point, you know, maybe that's what we need in this game number 2. It's just a little bit of role-playing a stomp.
Keria went in. He saw what he saw, and he said, bleh.
Bleh. Gross.
And I think that's what a lot of T1 fans are probably feeling about this draft right now. Kiwoom DRX are going to bring us to 3. Taking this Ocean Soul now. Wasn't the greatest soul, we mentioned it earlier, but a soul is a soul, and it is very strong for side lane Jax. Just in general, when you're ahead, any soul feels good, just more power. And it spawns the Elder, in case you haven't won the game by then. Peyz trying to farm his little heart out right now. Does have Spear Shojin, trying to get to a point where he could carry this game. Faker is just so far behind and went for the tankier build here, so just isn't able to do the damage back. Doran has Rage Blade, but like, all of these members are just so squishy if they kill the Skarner first, which has consistently been happening in these fights, or he just hasn't been there and they've circumvented the Skarner and gotten backline access with his Jax that has so much mobility. Doesn't have flash right now, but very, very powerful. Just went for the standard AD build as well. No Dusk and Dawn this time for the Jax. I think not required.
Gonna throw some stuff at Kiwoom DRX, but Andil pretty fast on this Karma.
Almost death cap for Ucal, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, you know, this game started off and Willer was getting 1,000,000 kills. Like, really great play from him in this game, honestly. You know, T1 had their whoopsies, but like Willer was like, no, I'm just going to warp this entire game around the strength of Lee Sin and his ability to gank early on. And the fact that T1 were not respecting it, and he got so far ahead. And if he were the only one fed, it would be okay. But he got the Jax fed, he got the Yanni fed. Couldn't necessarily help LazyFeel all too much. Got the early gank, though. And yeah, from there, you know, the Lee Sin, you know, if you're this fed, it's going to be nice at this point in the game, too.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think a lot of how this game was played for Willer was sometimes when you're in a kind of unstable game state and you have a really high power early jungle pick that has a lot of mobility, you could basically call out every lane and be like, will they assume I'm there and play safe? Or will they test the waters? And if I'm there every time, I actually crush them every time. And he did that in all 3 lanes. And that was enough to get the ball rolling here for Kiwoom DRX, but he was the one who picked up the kills, and then he just kept pushing those buttons.
Yeah.
And the Skarner was just not able to match, unfortunately. And when the Viktor falls this far behind and the Varus is just a paperweight, it's really easy for Kiwoom DRX, even though their comp doesn't necessarily scale that well. It's really easy for them to just keep putting the pressure on the whole time. Like, they don't have great siege in this comp, but they're like, we could just use Baron to go for a turn because our comp does that really well. And the Kiwoom DRX are making all the right choices this time around with the lead that they have. And it just goes to show, even if you are Kiwoom DRX in 8th place in the LCK, up against defending world champions T1, who just took out Gen G, if you disrespect, you will get punished in this league. And Kiwoom DRX are bringing us to 3 as a result of it. I don't know if T1 is going to be able to pull a miracle defense out of their hat here like they did against KT with Peyz as Aphelios.
You know, I was just thinking, you know, that was the game I was thinking about. If you're a T1 fan, you're hoping for this to somehow be a miracle. It's got to come down to an Elder flip, right? And that's what happened in that game against KT as well. I think there were some shenanigans prior to directly that Elder flip happening in that game, but a slightly smaller lead in this one. And another spawning elders, so maybe, just maybe, there's an angle. I feel like T1 sometimes they get themselves in this position just to see if they could work their way out of it. And they're certainly going to have to dig themselves out of this hole.
The thing is, you know, a lot of the time when you're in a situation like this as T1, you're like, all right, who do we need to kill? We need to kill the AD carry. How can we find an angle onto LazyFeel? If we can kill him, maybe we have a fighting chance. He's not the main problem in this game anymore. He's kind of just extra damage layered on top of all the other problems. Like this Annie that has death cap, does massive damage and basically one-shots anyone she interacts with.
They're really giving Peyz every single little bit of farm right now, by the way.
Yes.
Even Doran, who's also playing an AD carry, is like, no, Peyz, come over here and farm my wave. Even Oner was like, here, there's one ward here for you to take. They really want him to hit that 4th item.
And he will likely hit it this game. Does it solve all the problems? If given enough time, maybe. As Rich also still a big problem here in the side lanes. 2 levels up on Doran, was 3 levels up for a brief moment. I think he's got it. Okay, maybe not quite. He's doing a little fountain dance here before he locks in that 4th item, which we normally see as Endless Hunger, which it is. It's a huge spike for Ezreal. Get a ton of AD the longer the fight goes on. And that with Shojins, I mean, this is the Ezreal build, right? It's high skill cap. If you hit all your shots, the longer the fight goes on, you were just pounding the enemy team with damage. Yeah, it's no longer like poke, it's just brute force almost, late game Ezreal.
Oner's just going to go ahead and face check, looking for the Hail Mary there. Not going to quite hit it, but the root goes in on a Rich. He goes golden at exactly the right time, otherwise could have been in a bit of trouble. And, you know, this is the other part of it is that, you know, some of our better teams, you consider like Gen.G or T1, HLE, they get a lead, they know how to end it. Kiwoom DRX still somehow, I mean, I guess they're just waiting for the Elder to spawn and, you know, they don't have the greatest siege as you mentioned, but it is a bit like pulling teeth as Peyz is the main character. They're trying to take him out as just going to go over the wall is Keria following there with the wave, and I think eventually, you know, that hope, that 1% chance that T1 gets back in this one is immediately stamped out. Kiwoom DRX are going to get a kill on both the bottom laners. Rich still hanging around.
I don't think you need to kill Elder to win this one if you just push right now. They've got 2 waves to push in. Oner, no flash. We'll get away because he is Skarner. And we'll see what they decide to do here. I mean, I think they have enough to just end it before Faker and Peyz respawn. There's 30 seconds to go. There's an Annie here with Tibbers out. I think you just take this out. GG.
Yeah, they don't quite have the wave clear even with the Varus as the stun goes in onto Rich, but eventually they just kill the Skarner. They're like, yeah, cool stun there, Oner. As it's not going to be enough, Kiwoom DRX will clean up here as they get 27 kills in a 31-minute game to take out T1 and bring us to a 3rd.
Kiwoom DRX have done it again. The rare 1-game win they get against a team that no one expects them to beat, no one expects them to take a game off.